Yo, your boy's back with the most hilarious breakdown in hip-hop history. Reminder, this content is for comedic and entertainment purposes only. Nothing presented here is intended to be factual, defamatory. And I'm about to expose something that had me crying when I finally realized it. Like, I had to pause the track, rewind it, and just sit there in disbelief at the audacity. So check this out. Kendrick Lamar drops Not Like Us, right? And this track is surgical. Every single bar is calculated, every single line is truth, every single word is designed to destroy Drake's entire existence. But there's one line, just one line in this entire masterpiece where Kendrick lied. And when I caught it, I was like, yo, this man really just said that with a straight face? Let me play it for you real quick. The audience not dumb, Drake, they're not slow. Y'all, that's the lie. That's the only lie in the entire track. Drake's fans are slow, they are dumb, and I'm about to prove it to you with receipts, with evidence, with undeniable facts that will have you rolling. Today, we're breaking down the most savage verse Kendrick ever spit and the one hilarious lie he told in it. And trust me, by the time we're done, you're gonna understand why this is the most generous, most charitable, most gracious lie ever told in a diss track. Buckle up, because this is about to get surgical, disrespectful, and downright comedic. We're talking about a fan base so delusional, they make flat earthers look reasonable. We're talking about mental gymnastics that would win Olympic gold. We're talking about denial so deep, it's got its own zip sewed. If you're ready to witness the most hilarious roast of a fan base in hip-hop history, we about to break down why Kendrick was too nice when he said Drake's fans aren't dumb. Because oh boy, do I have evidence to the contrary. Let's set the stage for y'all, because context is everything. We're talking about Kendrick versus Drake, the biggest rap beef of the 2020s. This ain't just bars, this ain't just music, this is psychological warfare at its finest. Kendrick drops Not Like Us, and it's not just a diss track, it's a cultural reset. It's a surgical procedure. It's a masterclass in how to dismantle someone's entire career, reputation, and legacy in under 5 minutes. But here's what makes Kendrick different from every other rapper who's ever been in beef. He doesn't just attack Drake, he attacks Drake's entire ecosystem. He goes after the fans, the enablers, the yes men, the whole apparatus that keeps Drake's fraudulent career afloat. And in verse 2, Kendrick does something brilliant. He's breaking down how Drake manipulates public perception, how he uses his fan base as a shield, how he relies on people being too dumb to see through his act. And then Kendrick says, and I quote, "The audience not dumb. Drake, they're not slow."
The audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still.
No, some of them are actually fucking slow. Like 80% of them are actually slow. Kendrick, you're giving them far too much credit. Trust me.
Respectfully.
On the surface, this seems like Kendrick is being respectful to the general public, right? He's saying, look, people aren't stupid. They can see through Drake's BS. But here's where it gets hilarious, because if you've spent any time online, if you've seen any of the discourse around this beef, if you've witnessed any of the mental gymnastics Drake's fans have performed, you know that line is the biggest lie Kendrick ever told. Because Drake's fans, they are dumb. They are slow. They're slower than Internet Explorer on a dial-up connection. They're moving like they're stuck in quicksand. They're operating with the processing power of a calculator from 1985. And I'm not just saying this to be mean. I got receipts. I got evidence. I got examples that will have you questioning how these people function in society. The irony is thick, y'all. In a verse about manipulation, Kendrick manipulates us by being too generous. He gave Drake's fans more credit than they deserve. That's the only time Kendrick missed, by being too nice. And that's what we're breaking down today. We're gonna examine the delusion, the denial, the absolute mental gymnastics that Drake's fanbase has performed to avoid accepting reality. We're gonna look at the excuses, the spin, the revisionist history. This is gonna be educational and hilarious at the same time, because watching Drake's fans try to defend the indefensible is like watching someone try to convince you that water isn't wet. It's fascinating in its absurdity. So let's get into it. Let's break down why Kendrick's "the audience not dumb" line is the most charitable lie in diss track history. Let's expose the delusion. Let's roast the denial. Let's laugh at the mental gymnastics. And remember, this ain't about hating on people for liking an artist. This is about calling out the willful ignorance, the deliberate blindness, the Olympic-level mental gymnastics that Drake's fans perform to avoid accepting that their favorite artist got destroyed. All right, let's start with Exhibit A in the case of Drake's fans are absolutely, positively, undeniably slow.
Yeah, apparently you're not the West Coast savior either. Drake's out here using AI voiceovers of Tupac to dish you, and you're just sitting here spitting Bible quotes. Nah, wait, hold up. He did what? You didn't hear Taylor Made Freestyle? He used Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voices to dish you. Bum. Bum? Are you implying that you're about to drop another verse like that, or are you just calling Drake a bum? Nigga, bum!
And this one is a classic example of the mental gymnastics I'm talking about. Remember Taylor Made Freestyle? The track where Drake used AI voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg? Yeah, that disaster. Now, any reasonable person will look at what happened and say, okay, Drake made a mistake, he got legally shut down, he took an L, let's move on. But Drake's fans? Oh no. They said, it was strategic, it was genius, it was 4D chess. Strategic? The man got cease and desisted by a dead rapper's estate. Tupac's people had to come back from the grave to tell Drake to sit down. That's not strategy, that's a legal faceplant. Let me break down what actually happened, because the delusion around this is insane. Drake drops Taylor Made Freestyle using AI-generated voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg to taunt Kendrick. Now, already this is weird, right? You're in a beef with someone, so you use dead legends' voices to fight your battle? That's like showing up to a boxing match with your dad. But it gets worse. Tupac's estate immediately sends a cease and desist. They're like, yo, take this down right now or we're suing. And Drake complies. He takes it down within 24 hours. Now, in what universe is getting legally threatened and having to remove your diss track considered a win? In what reality is that strategic? But watch the delusion from Drake's fans. They started spinning this immediately. Oh, Drake knew this would happen. He wanted the attention. He was just trolling. It's all part of the plan. The plan? The plan was to get legally threatened and look like a fool. That's the worst plan I've ever heard. That's like saying, I'm gonna punch myself in the face for attention. Like, yeah, you'll get attention, but you'll also look stupid. And the mental gymnastics didn't stop there. Drake's fans started saying, well, the track served its purpose. It got people talking. It put pressure on Kendrick. Put pressure on Kendrick? Kendrick? The man who responded with "Not Like Us" and ended Drake's entire career? That pressure? This is like saying, I threw a pebble at a tank and it served its purpose because the tank noticed me. Yeah, the tank noticed you right before it ran you over. But here's where it gets even more delusional. Drake's fans started rewriting history in real time. They started saying, Drake was making a statement about AI and music. He was starting a conversation. A conversation? He was trying to diss Kendrick and got legally shut down. That's not starting a conversation, that's getting silenced. This is fan fiction PR at its finest. They're out here rewriting history like they're on Wikipedia with no fact checker. They're creating narratives that have no basis in reality. And the wildest part? Some of Drake's fans started saying, well, at least Drake was creative. At least he tried something different. Creative? Using AI to make dead rappers fight your battles is creative? That's not creative, that's desperate. That's like a ventriloquist using a dummy to insult someone. It's weird and cowardly. Let me put this in perspective for y'all. Imagine you're in an argument with someone, and instead of using your own voice, you use a recording of Martin Luther King Jr. to make your point. And then MLK's estate sues you and makes you stop. Would anybody call that strategic? Would anybody call that genius? No, they call you weird and legally reckless. But Drake's fans, they'll spin anything. They're like, nah, that was the plan all along. He wanted to get sued. It's all part of the strategy. What strategy? The make myself look stupid strategy? The get legally threatened strategy? The prove Kendrick right about me being desperate strategy? And here's the thing that kills me. Drake's fans will defend this with a straight face. They'll type out these long explanations about how this was actually a brilliant move. They'll create timelines and theories. It's like watching someone try to explain how jumping off a building is actually a smart way to get downstairs. Like, yeah, you'll get down, but you're gonna be broken when you land. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. These fans watched Drake get legally shut down, watched him have to remove his track, watched him take a public L, and they still found a way to call it a win. This is the fan base that Kendrick said, not dumb. This is the audience he said, not slow. And I'm like, Kendrick, my brother, you are too generous. Because if you can watch someone get cease and desisted by a dead rapper's estate and call it strategic, you might need.
Meet the Grams, but Family Matters dropped 20 minutes ago. Were you ready for this? Whoa, what's going on with the lights? Drake, you up when you use Pac's voice. Now it's time to meet the boogeyman.
Because if you can watch someone get cease and desisted by a dead rapper's estate and call it strategic, you might need to get your brain checked. That's not analysis, that's delusion. But wait, it gets better, because Tailor-Made was just the beginning of the mental gymnastics. Let's move on to Exhibit B. Now we're getting into the really delusional territory. Let's talk about Drake's lawsuit against Universal Music Group and Spotify, because this is where Drake's fans really showed their Olympic-level mental gymnastics. For those who don't know, Drake filed legal petitions claiming that UMG and Spotify artificially inflated the streams of Not Like Us. He was basically saying the only reason Kendrick's diss track is successful is because of bots and manipulation. Now, any reasonable person would look at this and say, wow, Drake is really desperate. He's suing instead of responding with music. This is weak. But Drake's fans? They said, it's 4D chess. It's genius. Drake is exposing the industry. 4D chess? He got his case dismissed faster than a parking ticket. No win, no strategy, just embarrassment. Let me break down the delusion here because it's layered. First, Drake files these petitions in December 2024, and immediately Drake's fans start spinning it as some kind of masterstroke. Oh, Drake is so smart. He's using the legal system to expose corruption. He's fighting for all artists. Fighting for all artists. This man is fighting for his ego. He got destroyed in a rap beef, and instead of responding with music like every other rapper in history, he ran to lawyers. But the fans were out here creating these elaborate theories. Drake is playing 5D chess. He's going to expose the whole industry. This is bigger than just a beef. 5D chess? The man filed a lawsuit that legal experts immediately said had no chance of winning. That's not chess, that's checkers with
filed a lawsuit. He basically filed a lawsuit that everybody said was a stupid lawsuit. And this is where I'm gonna give y'all my breakdown. It's your boy Jet Ski G. That's my man Mike Drop TV. We back with another banger. When it comes to Drake fans, there is a level of delusion. I would say I listen to Drake. I like Drake up into maybe Views. But when this battle dropped, and on my channel there's a 17-minute video of just Drake stealing flows. When I seen that video, then when I seen the OVO sweatshop, I had to turn in my Toronto flag. I had to turn it in. You're not allowed in America no more. I'm done with you. I can't do it. Nope, can't do it. When I seen how he was treating people like The Weeknd, people like Quentin Miller, people like I Love McConan, just all of his songwriters stealing songs, not giving credits. This dude was doing what Birdman did on steroids. Like, this is like a horrible person in the music industry, in my opinion. But when it comes to Drake fans, they really can't see past Drake. They can't understand why people like Kendrick. They can't get into people like intellectual rap that actually makes you have to think. They like doing drugs. They like partying. They like being promiscuous, and all that's cool. All that can have its place at certain times. But what is Drake giving you to actually, build you up, to actually build up the community? Because hip hop was actually made for that, to actually push things to the next level. But when you're dealing with Drake fans, and don't get me wrong, I understand them. I used to like Drake. But once I seen everything he was doing, to see everything he's been doing in the game, and to see how Kendrick exposed everything he's been doing in the game, and you still not look at him with the side eye, you either stupid or you ignorant. You just don't want to see what's going on. There's no way you can call him a rapper or a part of hip hop after all the things that have been exposed. He's a guest in hip hop who's overstayed his welcome. Like I've been saying, he's a guest in hip hop, and I put him behind Eminem. Eminem can come to the cookout. Drake is not allowed to the cookout. And, I identify him as like a Jewish rapper. He's not a black rapper. He's a Jewish rapper. He grew up as a Jewish kid, which there's nothing wrong with. But he's not a black rapper. He never wanted to be black, and nothing about him is black. He's only stealing from the culture. He's a Jewish rapper. It's okay. All right, so y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about Drake fans. Also, I'm going to drop another banger right here. Click this video right here. This is a banger. I'm going to catch y'all in this video. It's your boy Jet Ski G. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I'm out, y'all.